Oh,
Hey, hello.
Jose. You good?
Wow.
Oh,
How you doing?
how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Oh my
I'm doing
gosh,
fine.
you're
Thank
doing
you.
fine.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Wow. We so many years ago.
Wow, since I was a young man.
4th Wall Street.
Yes.
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 Young man, me too.
Yes.
Now we are old men.
Oh man, with white hair.
Hey, wow. See, that's my wife, I'm Claire.
Nice meeting you. Nice meeting you. Nice meeting you. Nice meeting you.
Mr. Lopez.
Yes, ma'am.
Jose.
Yes, ma'am.
And Simeon, that's our son. You can
God bless you.
shake him.
God bless you. God bless you.
And Damien, who is also
God
with
bless
us.
you too. God bless you, Mr. Lopez.
And the others, you know.
Yes, sir.
Patrick.
God bless you. For the summertime, to keep the kids safe, the way we used to have it. Vincent, you, Franchet, Patrice, Diana, Paul, Brian, Michelle.
You know all them.
Yes. Babette, Dennis, okay, Brian, okay, all these people, okay. We used to take the kids, okay, to the camp for the summer. Why?
So-
To keep them out of getting killed. That's
Oh, wow, here
Oh,
we are.
right.
Where is it?
The United Nations.
That's in the United Nations.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Donald Lee, huh?
Yeah, the United Nations. That's when I came out of cancer right there.
Yeah.
Everything fell. All my hair fell out. The United
That's when
Nations.
we were sick here?
Yes, I was sick here. Yeah.
Find me,
75 staple in my back. And they took me to the UN. I went to the UN that day.
Wow. Still, you
Still.
had the
Yes.
strength.
Yes,
Yeah.
I had the strength.
No.
Yes, I had the strength.
Ça, c'est la 4e rue.
Ça, c'est la 4e.
C'est bien parce que...
C'est là que
Ah oui.
je suis arrivé en 75. Et ça, c'est là, dans cette maison-là, qu'habitait Vincent Franchette. Je ne me rappelle plus, 4e peut-être, mais derrière, dans un appartement derrière. Et souvent, le soir, je mangeais chez eux. Et ça, c'était passionnant parce que Vincent, il était très engagé ici dans le quartier avec les jeunes, les familles. À moi, il me demandait de m'engager avec les enfants. Et Franchette, déjà, à cette époque-là, elle allait souvent aux Nations Unies. Tu te rends compte, depuis là, pour essayer d'ouvrir des portes là-haut pour que voilà, la voix des familles soit entendue. Et le soir, à table, c'était parfois fort, hein, comme Vincent racontait ce qu'il avait vécu dans la journée. Il avait visité un jeune en prison, une famille qui venait de se faire expulser ici, où il cherchait une famille qui n'était plus là, passait 2 heures dans le métro. Et puis après, il dit « Ah, et puis toi, Franchette ?» Et puis elle raconte comment elle essaye dans ses couloirs de rencontrer des gens aux Nations Unies, de pousser une porte, garder le pied dedans. Et puis c'était cette question, mais ça change quoi? Quand Vincent, il avait cette question, mais ça change quoi pour les gens, ce qu'on fait là-bas aux Nations Unies?
Est-ce que c'est de là, quand il raconte qu'ils ont eu tellement peur du feu? C'est dans cet immeuble-là?
Oui, exactement, c'est là, parce que c'était l'époque où dans le quartier, les propriétaires des maisons, les promoteurs, ils cherchaient à faire partir les gens. Donc une façon de faire partir les gens, c'était ils payaient des personnes dans le quartier à mettre le feu, quoi. Et tout d'un coup, tout le temps, il y avait... C'était vraiment comme une région... C'était comme bombardé. Et oui, un jour, il y a eu le feu dans leur maison. Et les pompiers sont venus, ils ont descendu les gens. Et Franchette et Vincent...
You don't know nothing about the neighborhood.
What do you know about this neighborhood?
Oh, you know something?
I know everything. I want to do a documentary about it. You want to help me?
No, we are not, because I was here
When?
in
Film it. Yeah, go ahead.
in 75.
Okay, I was here since the 60s.
I was here. You remember?
Where you lived?
You remember Vincent and
Of
Frachet?
course. I remember the drug spots here,
Yes.
the shooting gallery here, everything. It was
Yes.
crazy. It was pandemonium.
Yeah.
Want to
I-
do it? You have a card?
I was a very young volunteer at that time.
For what?
Well, with the Forceful Movement.
Oh, okay.
And I joined them, and see over
The church or the...
over there,
Yeah.
Vincent had built together with the young people. There was Papo, Jose,
Okay, Pika.
Pika,
Yeah, Angelo, Frenchie,
Angela.
Jungle.
Yes.
It was me.
Yeah.
It was everybody. I remember. I
Yeah.
lived on 5th and B.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Andres. You are?
Eugene.
Eugene.
And
It's a pleasure.
The children,
Andres.
the children call me Blue Jean.
Blue Jean.
Blue Jean.
Okay. So you remember the bearded man that used to play the guitar?
Yeah.
The hippie guy that used to live right on the corner.
Yes. But then also that was terrible. I just told.
It wasn't that it was terrible. It was the way of the world.
Okay.
You know, like where you're from, France.
From Switzerland.
You're Switzerland, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure in Switzerland they have poverty-stricken neighborhoods, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So people, survivors,
Yeah.
they do whatever it is to when in Rome, do what the Romans
Yeah.
do. And that's what it basically was. My thing, what I want to talk about is how this neighborhood went from slumlords and the love of culture and Hispanic heritage to co-ops and condominiums. Now you can't afford to live here. They're robbing our property. Regentrification has destroyed this neighborhood. The buildings are ugly. The people are snobby. It's just sad. So we need to tell the story.
Just wanted to say hey again. We're good. You're okay for?
All right. I don't like to be on no camera, but
No, yeah. No, always wanted to say hey again. We're gonna go in and see.
all right.
See Tina and all
Okay.
them.
That's my pretty team.
Hi there. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. You all got.
And y'all see these back in the days, old phones.
Flip phones. You got yourself.
That's
a
also
good
what
career.
you.
Yeah, car phone.
Yeah.
Ah, that's your car phone. All right, it plugged directly into the car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You got a good bit of work there. Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
We got to lot of stuff I gotta go through.
Yeah.
And you, what do you
I sell it.
you sell it?
Yeah. All the good stuff. Old stuff I used to throw away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good bit of
There
work.
are places in the city you can go and sell it, or
Oh,
just
I sit
to
in the
people?
front. In the front.
In the front, you
of
go to the
building.
front.
Yeah. And I sit it outside
Yeah.
and let people come by and see.
Wow.
Like a yard sale.
Yeah. Good deal. You get some help. You got folks help
Yeah,
you.
the family.
They help you.
They
Help
help
you
you,
take
yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Hey Tina, now good? For you, where's your power come from?
Well, my power came from my mom's. You know, my mom's gave me that power because I was a young mother. I had my children young, very young. I had Joshua at 15. Cherry had another one at 15. Cherry had one at 18. Cherry had another one at 19. You know, I had my kids very young, and like my mom's helped me raise them, and the fourth woman will help me raise them, which is true. The fourth woman will help me raise them, and that little bit of power, that power my mother gave me, had me strength enough to like I could do this on my own. The most unfair is when you gotta look at your babies and tell them that you don't have nothing to eat tonight. When you gotta look at your babies and tell them that we have to go into a shelter to live. When you gotta look at yourself and you see somebody pick you out on and you don't have nothing for you or your kids and you just wondering what you want to do next. And you just don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know. So that's why I tell people, a lot of people just, they keep a lot of things in, but the worst of poverty is leaving it as being ashamed. And that's what a lot of people that live in poverty is ashamed, because they do. They live there. And they don't want that to come out. They don't want that to happen. The difference is about, like I just said it, the difference about us, we didn't live in concentrated camps like some people did. We live in shelters. And if you ever go to a shelter in New York and you ask how many of them people was ashamed of being there, a whole lot will tell you yes. Yes. They ready to live on the street because they're ashamed of the shelters. But they don't have no choice to go there because that's the only thing that's going to help them. I was in the shelter 3 times. 4 times in my life. My kids, no. But 5. Maybe, okay, we count. Let me lie. I was there with my kids. And I was there since Joshua was 4. That's how I found my first apartment. Mucka and Mumu was a newborn baby. My daughter Jadora, the one that was sitting here, Jadora, she's a newborn baby. So I know what it feel like. And I knew my kids used to get teased at for being in the shelter. And I taught them, you hold your head up. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Look at that. I'll show you the ones from So he took a cute one yesterday.
You was caught off guard. You still did not care.
I know.
Yeah,
you said
right?
cheese, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's me. That's me and Tia doing a selfie. And then I got him with the mask. And then he took these. He was telling me cheese.
That?
Yeah, that's
and
me.
You,
that's
Lord.
me in the mask.
And you just was soup like, yeah.
Uh-huh. And then he got me an anchor.
By yourself.
Uh-huh.
We all have the same goals and we just want to fulfill it. So that's how I feel. And CG Fourth World has done a lot for me. Like since I was a kid, like street library, it taught me to learn how to share, be humble, to not treat anybody differently than I would want to be treated. You know, and then as I got older and they had the youth bill, like not youth bill, but it was for the youth. And we were able to talk about what was going on in our neighborhood, how we felt about the way we were growing up and how the way the education system was treating us. You know, and it felt good to have an outlet, to have people listen to us besides our parents and our friends and family, to listen to us. And then now, when I hit adulthood and I was in People's University, and to hear somebody like, no, we want to hear how you feel. We want to know what it's like to be in your shoes. And you know, I just was like, wow, like my voice? Y'all want to hear me? Like, and they were like, well, we want to know what your input is. We've been listening to you since you were like 8 or 9 years old. I'm like, yeah, but that's a kid. Of course you're gonna listen to a kid. But now an adult, like, whoa, like me. And then when I was able to speak on a lot of issues and a lot of naysayers who were talking about the 4-4 movement and how it was not changing. I was like, it's changing, but at a slow pace. It's like you can't rush change, you know. If you could, a lot of things would be changed. So, you know, when I sat on a lot of panels and I went to October 17th, I've been going to October 17th since I was like 9 years old. And then it was serious, and then it was, and then it was serious when I took, all right, we can go to Maria, but you can't act up.
Stay here then. Stay with me.
And then it was so serious because I went to the Eradication of Poverty Day for the UN since I was 9, and then so all of a sudden ended up taking my own child in. I was just shocked, like, oh my God, like I'm really having another generation involved in this. So like, it just feels good to hear from the 4th world, knowing that your voice matters, your opinion does matter. And the person that I feel towards it, I feel more liberated.
I'm going to start a little group with us grown people and stuff to get the dialogues talking. I'm going to push as hard as I can so we can have a 4-4 house out here. Somewhere people can talk to. If I don't get one out here, my house is always like the time we talk about our difference, what's going on in our life and how you don't have to talk if you don't want to talk, but if you feel free, we're not going to get into your personal life, but if you feel free that you like that, if you feel that you can't talk to nobody, you feel free that we all in the same situation, and you feel free that you have something that you can offer and stuff, you can feel free there. So we can, us, as all the people, to make a change. I got me right on the spot. They got me right on the spot. I hear that. Yeah, that's my 646-407-2512. Okay. Fourth movement is 212-228-1339. Okay. Okay, I look for your call, Tony.
Thank you.
All right, see you, Miss Tony. Nice meeting you.
I know where I came from. I came from a world of darkness. I came from of not knowing life into knowing life. And that was due to my mother helping me and due to folk helping me. They showed me other parts of life. And I was glad, I'm so glad to this day, I tell Joshua to this day, I'm so happy that he ran downstairs and didn't obey me. You know what I'm saying? I'm so happy that he went by back across from that, because that gave me and my husband and my kids an open life. That gave my family, just not me and my husband, that gave my family, my sisters, my nieces, that my sister-in-law that just passed away, that gave her family a link to know that we're not alone. Us poor people and people that live in the street poverty, we drop down and we don't think we can get back up because we don't have that voice. Because people then push us down and push us down to the lowest point. We can't get there to no more. We don't think that our brains is intelligent to understand. But we got the government running us so much in each part of our countries, we don't know what voice we need to say. Because we said this word, we wrong for saying that. Stay back there because you not in our level, or you don't know what you're talking about because you got a master's degree. No, because you was as smart as I am. But that's how they treat us. They treat us like, if we don't go out there and scream and yell it, like, no, we do have a voice. I got the rights to talk. I don't care that you in politics. I don't care that you, whatever you do, I don't care you got a master's degree. I don't care. But this is me. This is where I'm living. You're not living here. Come live in my house for a couple of years. Get off of stop getting your bills paid. Let me see you live in a house for a whole year with just $1. I said people in poverty need to get up, scream. It was in Switzerland, Honduras, Guatemala, Africa, all of us need to go and say every part of the language. Every part of it, every part of it, every part of it. We have a voice. And if you don't like our voice, politicians, government, Congress, y'all need to kiss it where it don't shine. Simple.
That's the new United Nations. You are just talking about what the United Nations should be. We the people.
Yes.
That's what's on the base of the United Nations, who gather
but they need
in your city, New York.
They need to feed that.
It's coming.
He's an on-time person.
Yeah, he's.
It's about 10 o'clock,
It's
right?
an on-time person. Hello, Donald. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Donnelly. How are you?
The L train wasn't running. Did you try to take the L?
Oh, I drove.
Oh, you drove.
I have to drive. When I first spoke at the UN, what was it? Maybe back in '98. In the 90s.
Yes.
Someplace in the 90s, and I know from my first time you were there.
98. So, no, I started doing it in 2000.
All right. So
98.
Then it wasn't the very first time though.
No.
But shortly after,
yes, right, yeah.
you came in, and then I just remember you being there. UN and you. So.
No, I tried to do something different when I took the job, and part of the job was dealing with implementing the UN Poverty Day, and that's when I met people from the movement, like Jürgen, and in that time was Diana Skelton for the first time.
Oh, yes.
What's amazing is that it kept growing from place to place. People gathered every 17th of October to express,
to commemorate
the ones who have died of violence and hunger, but also to say how we try to unify and to get the human rights.
The problem is the original idea of October 17th was initially lost in the UN, because people the UN saw poverty as a problem. You know, even myself, I have to confess, you know, as an economist,
Amen.
When I first looked at poverty, it's like a problem. I can solve it. You know, it's like a puzzle. If I put the right pieces together, I can solve poverty. You know, provide them with access to financing, provide them with better health. You know, create jobs. But what October 17th reveals is actually it's the person. You know, ultimately, all you're doing is for people, and your success is measured by the impact on the individual.
Yes.
And if they don't feel free, they don't feel part of society, they'll never get out of poverty, because you can only give them the tools. They're the ones who actually decide how to get out of poverty.
I could be retired right now, but I'm not. You know, you have to know what it is you can do and what it is you can keep trying to do.
Yeah.
You never have to give up. I mean, that's like almost. That's like the worst feeling you can do to yourself is to give up. And that's for poverty as well. That's the worst thing you can do. Just give up and settle for this poverty. Oh, whatever. I'm never going to get no place. I might as well just accept the bugs, accept the garbage, accept. You don't have to accept.
Yeah.
You don't have to accept. And you know, that's why I'm saying it's really so necessary that you get a chance to verbalize and people get to hear you, like they listen, like you go to the UN and people hear you there, like the movement, they hear you here, and everybody on all sides is steady trying to work at how can we improve.
In the early days, when the UN was organizing the International Day for October 17th, and the UN staff members would sit down and maybe might consult with other UN agencies, the World Bank or the UNDP, and say, what sort of theme should we have? And somebody will say, okay, we need better financing for poor people or something like that, you know? Mm-hmm. Not a thought about involving people living in poverty.
At all,
yeah. And over time, this sort of changed, and, you know, I was lucky I was in that position I could introduce this idea.
Amen, amen.
And then interesting things happen. You see, when you start consulting people living in poverty, you get their perspective of poverty introduced into the discussion. You see, the UN has this very technical aspect, or maybe it's a political aspect of poverty. And one of the years, and I was reminded of this. The word humiliation came into the theme. And we introduced it. And people said, what do you mean by humiliation? You know, it's not something, if you do a search in the UN documents, you don't find humiliation. You know, and governments, and they said probably governments won't like this idea. But we said, look, this is something that's coming from the grassroots. People living in poverty actually believe this is an important aspect of poverty. So I think it's only now with the Sustainable Development Goals where we focus on leaving no one behind and participation, that actually brings the focus back to the ideas that Joseph Lisinski was talking about. How can you reduce poverty or eliminate extreme poverty without involving the people who are?
That's in poverty, exactly. Like he said, they need to be heard, let their voices be heard. Yes.
I remember when you spoke at the UN last February, you said how much you were involved in the knocking on door to make sure that the one who stay hidden inside, that's the way you said it, will come to the street library. And so now we are outside in Brownsville, so people start to get to know us. They seem very happy to see that there is something happening for the kids in the neighborhood. But my concern is really how are we going to be able to reach out the one hidden inside. And so I really need your advice and your experience to know how we could handle that.
You can interact so much with kids. You don't want to go overboard, but they'll give you the signs that there's somebody living right there that wants to come, but maybe you have to ask their parent, or maybe you have to tell them, sure, you can come. So you have to look for the signs, and generally the signs are right in your face. On Montauk, when we did what we did on Montauk, generally they were hanging in the windows. And they're in the window and they're looking at what's going on down here and what has these kids' attention. And and oh, something's going on back there too. And that's what I mean in the face. Those ones that do that in the window, generally, if you would say, well, would you like to come out, or something? Do you have a piece of tissue? Anything just to get them to just say something.
To have the connection.
It's like sometimes they're waiting for the opportunity to say something. They don't know how to say it. So if you could just initiate them opening their mouth. Oh, does it look like it's going to rain out here? They might even say, yeah, it sure is going to rain, from way in the window. So, I mean, anything to just start. You don't even have to invite them straight off. Just, if you see them sitting there, generally they're sitting there because they don't know how to say hello. And generally sometimes it takes more than just hello. So, you have to be creative. You be creative because things are right in your face a lot of the time. That's all. Well, my mother used to live here on the second floor, 417. They've renovated the building since then. There used to be all one families on each floor. Now they have 2 families per floor. They broke it down and made it smaller after she moved out.
And so the street library was happening.
Street
here?
library was here every now and then. Sometime across the street over there.
They would set up the computers.
Sometime in the driveway. When it rained, they'd be in the hallway. And all the other houses down there are new.
That's you.
And the pictures I showed you, remember they would set up their canvases over there and have the kids drawing. They would have their computers over here, lined up on these here. My mother would throw down an extension cord. They would have it plugged in. Yeah.
Stay right here with us. Keep on filling us with your love. And while we're waiting, we'll lift our hearts in praise. Without a doubt, we know that we have been revised when we shall leave this place.
Amen.
Without a doubt, we know she was revived.
Amina.
Thank you, Glenn. Rest in peace.
Emma.
Ha.
Emma.
Yeah, that was her favorite song.
Yeah.
And that was the last song she sang to us in the hospital before she died. We are all here and gifted, uniquely created for a purpose. I want to know what mine is, and I want to be able to do it. And because I have a passion for youth and young people, and I see the hurt at 21 years old, you are pretty much considered an adult. And so it's go out there, get a job, figure it out, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, find an apartment, live life. At 21, you don't know how to do none of that. At 21, you still trying to figure out who you are. But you don't have time to figure out who you are here. Because who you are is defined by everything around you. Who you are says you are somebody who doesn't make enough money to actually get a job. You are somebody who doesn't have a real good education, so you're ignorant. You are somebody who doesn't deserve anything better than what you have because you're lazy. And so you begin to be defined by your environment. It's systematic. And in order for us to do something about it, it has to start on the inside. And I thank God for again, I stress the God in me, because there's an inner strength that comes. There's an inner strength that I have that says, today might be a hard day, but you're strong enough to make it through it.
There's so many things out here that you still can do. So you pick and you choose, and then you try to take other people with you.
Booyah.
Like Stacy, who I'm bringing to the Fourth World meeting at the People's University tonight. She goes through so many different things. You can't save a person, but you can go with them. You can walk with them, and especially if you done been through the same shoes. Because we've been in places where we had to scrape and struggle and carry on, and we fought our way. We might not be completely out, but maybe it's not meant for us to go, but so far it's meant for us to show other people that you can get out.
Amen. We need one more chair, that's it. We're getting intimate, getting closer, sir. That's our
What support would we need to assume better our responsibility as a mother, a father, a child, auntie, etc.?
What keeps the spirit alive even when you're not together? What are the efforts we do to keep our family united? And what support do we have that keeps our family spirit together?
And they're going to learn from us. And that's the way we are people of university.
This is the second question, right?
And here's a group of activists.
This is the second question, what support, right?
That's the second question. Just focus on the first question, that's all.
This is our group. Okay, see, family support. These are things that the outside is the support, and the inside is the communication or the process of bringing together. The outside is supporting whatever's on the inside. We could read some of the words, like what's on the inside is like hope, love, unity. We see hope, and I understand that the acronym for hope is helping other people endure. And that's what the program is about. They get hope because we help them in the struggle, or we all struggle together, probably would be a better word to say. We have to understand all aspects to help more people. The more we understand, the more knowledge that we put into this flower and merge, the better we understand the people that are in poverty, or people coming out of poverty, or just the people, period, human nature. And that's the best way I can explain the flower, is that we all come for one main goal, and that's humanity, and the support of humanity is how humanity grows.
I came here as a young girl, then I came and I got here and learned, because at that time, when I was 21 years old, I was just worrying about, like, when I first came to the Fourth World movement, I was on my arms in a shelter. So I only focused on, like, taking my kids to school, coming back home, making sure nobody messed with my kids. And that's when I started coming. When I started coming, and I got the chance to listen to different people, other people that was like almost in the same boat with me. I could call this person, I could ask this person a question. I go on Facebook and I see this person, and I can ask them a question. I learn from everybody all across the world. I learned from their nationalities. I learned their cultures. I learned a lot of things. Even my kids learned certain things because they was raised up in the Fourth World movement.
I've been involved with the Fourth World movement for more than about the same amount of time as Zena. 20-something years. And our kids, I have 4 kids, my son the oldest and 3 daughters. And they grew up in the Fourth World movement. And It was actually saving my life, more or less, the Fourth Row movement, along with God. Because I was a street person. I was a smart street person, but I was a street person. Mm-hmm. I was in college. I was working full time, but my head was in the street. And it's like I needed a focus. And my kids, they were my focus, and they just weren't my focus enough. And it's like when ATD Fourth World Movement came along, it kind of helped me put my kids into the focus that they needed to be. And it helped me to be more present in their lives like I needed to be.
I do not claim to know where I'm going with this. I do not claim to know that I have all the answers. But I will say it has been working for me. It has took down barriers. It has released stereotypes. And it has helped me understand my past. I don't know where we go from here, but I know it's a better feeling than where I was at.
Nice, nice.
And being that the feeling is that good, I allow that feeling and my extended family to guide me. There's no wrongs or rights. It's unconditional security. When I'm down, there is a phone I can use. When I don't know, somebody will tell me. I don't carry the burden of the extreme poverty by myself. I share it with my family. And that's the way it is.